One of the interesting things for me about vocal production is the concept of minimizing the variables. There are lots of variables. You have the singer as a variable, you have the acoustic space as a variable, the microphone as a variable, and so forth and so on. So the microphone itself does not have a lot of output. Dynamic microphones have a little bit more output than condenser microphones, but both of them are weak comparatively. So we need another device to actually up the gain of the microphone going into the DAW, and that's called the microphone preamp. I actually have a microphone here. This is a unidirectional cardioid microphone called the SM58 by the company Shure. And when I speak into this, I should be able to go into my DAW if I've got a good mic pre in the path. Now, many of the audio interfaces that we have with our DAWs have microphone pre's built into them. Some of them don't. And if they don't, you probably have to get an outboard microphone pre. I have an outboard microphone pre here. I'm actually going to turn over and see if I can crank up some gain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've brought it up about 55 or 60 dB in order to increase the gain going into my DAW. Now as I'm speaking, I'm probably hitting my DAW, and you can probably see on this screen it's going up into the green and into the yellow. This has given me the ability to now convert my signal from a very, very weak microphone signal into a very powerful and robust channel input or line input signal. Plus 4 dB is actually professional level, and minus 10 dB is commercial level for input to different DAWs. So the idea of vocal production as a series of complex components, each one of them that can affect the actual outcome of the vocal performance, is really something that I think about a lot when I'm doing vocal production. So once again, the singer, the ambient space, the microphone itself, and now we've bumped into the mic pre. The microphone pre itself can come in different shades and different colors. And what I mean by color is not the color of the mic pre itself, but what it can actually do to the voice itself. So you've got inexpensive ones that have one type of ambient color. You've got very expensive ones that have a different type of ambient color. You've got vintage ones. You've got tube components in different mic pre's, so forth and so on. Now each one of these mic pre's from various manufacturers over various points in time can do different things to the color that you're getting from the microphone and to the vocalist's voice as they're making that journey from the microphone to the mic pre. And this is where the complexity of picking a microphone preamp comes into play. Now at the base level, you might have a starter system and you've got a mic pre on your audio interface, so you don't really have a lot to work with. But the more you get into this, the more you'll start looking at what are the different variations that I could possibly have. And once again, we're trying to minimize the variables, so once you make that choice, you might have to live with it for a while. But remember, don't get hung up on the technology. The goal is for the technology to be transparent. Ultimately, a great vocal performance is what wins out. And the more you get into the concept of the technology, the more gear you get, you're going to have your go-to pieces of gear so that you can get that transparent signal and so your vocalist can be represented well. So this is just an introduction to some of the components and some of the variation of the components, but we're going to minimize all of those variables and make your vocal production as transparent as possible.